We're good. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just if you have any questions as we go, you can go ahead and put them in the chat box down at the bottom of your screen. And we should have lots of time for people to unmute and ask questions as well. Back to you, Tom.
Yeah, so just quickly, the Montgomery County Green Bank, just for those of you not familiar with us, we're a nonprofit organization. We were actually established by the county in 2015, but we're not a county agency. We work outside the county. We have a charter from the county. So we're an independent 501c3 corporation with an 11-member board of directors, 2 of which are county directors of environmental protection and finance. But we operate under the auspices of our own independent board. But our job is to accelerate investment in energy efficiency, renewable energy in the county. We only operate in Montgomery County, and we do it by partnering with financial institutions to bring benefits to the county. So most of what we offer comes through other entities, but we stand behind those. And by standing behind them, we bring value and benefits to you all if you want to undertake those programs. So ultimately, our job is to help the county achieve its greenhouse gas emission goals. We also have a mission to not only deliver clean energy and equitable, clean energy, renewable energy financing, but do it in an equitable way. And this Access Solar program that we're launching here is about that equity, to try to make sure that everybody in the county has equal access to the opportunity to participate in clean energy efforts. And this program was built around and off of about 4 different meetings we had with a diverse set of stakeholders that represented various county interests, so that we made sure that we were bringing a program that those stakeholders felt would meet the demands and needs of, in this particular instance, low and moderate income households. So this is the goals in which we focus on, and the county has very aggressive goals to reach 100% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2035. It's a very big goal and a very short timetable to get there. So our work is trying to get and support that activity. So.
Thanks, Tom. And touching on that, I just wanted to check in real quick with everyone and see, does anyone anyone that doesn't work for the Green Bank or Grid Alternatives know what are greenhouse gas emissions? What are we talking about? How does solar energy change any of that? What are we using right now in our houses if we use the electricity from the utility?
So I guess, we're like CO2 emissions. We don't want none of that. So our gas-powered vehicles, that's releasing CO2. And then we have, I think in terms of our energy that powers our homes, we have, I guess the sources would be coal. That's releasing CO2. So, yeah.
Very good. Thank you. You know all of those answers. So yes, besides the pollution that's created by the transportation department, another big creator of pollution is the way that we historically generate electricity, the electricity that we use in our homes. It's a lot of times by burning fossil fuels. There's some nuclear energy in there as well. And anytime you burn something, greenhouse gas emissions are created. So our goal in putting solar on the home is to use a renewable source instead of burning fossil fuels. And so basically, if just one house goes solar, it does make a big difference, but the huge difference, if 40 homes go, if all of us do it together, we can make a difference. So we all need your help and everyone's help to go ahead and make this change. So let's quickly touch on how solar panels work. As I said, I'm not going to go too deeply into this. You can see that the solar panels are on top of the roof. They're not in that middle section, right, where there's a part of the house that sticks out. That's called a dormer. So you can see that solar panels won't be on every part of your house unless your house is completely flat and there are no vents up there. Most people don't realize how many obstructions and vents are on the top of their house. So that's one thing that makes houses a little bit different. They're also faced in different ways. Houses or parts of the roof that face south get the most light, And so those solar panels work the hardest. You can put solar panels on east and west facing roof planes, sorry, and less so on the north side. And the solar installer will come out and take a look at your house and decide all of this for you, go over everything with you. So we're not going to go into too much of it, but you can see that, oh, sorry about that. You can see that the sun is out in this picture. So the sun does come up every day, even if it's a little bit cloudy out, the sun does come up. The solar panels work as soon as the sun comes up until it comes down. It works a little bit, they work a little bit less if it's rainy or cloudy, but they're still always working. The electricity is generated in the panels and it goes down that orange pipe on the side of the house. It goes to an inverter that changes the type of electricity and also counts the amount of kilowatt hours that the system makes. It then goes to your electric panel, which feeds whatever's pulling electricity in your house at that time. So your house will primarily pull from the solar panels when the sun is up. And when the sun is down, you'll still be connected to the utility grid. In Montgomery County, we've got Pepco, BGE, and Potomac Edison. So that's your utility electricity. You'll still be connected to the utility grid, even if you have solar. And if the utility grid does go down, if we have a blackout, it's important to know that unless you have battery backup installed, that your solar system automatically turns off for the safety of the workers that come out to fix the utility grid. So the solar installers will go into much more detail. This is just basically an overview. So what are some of the benefits of solar? You may have heard all of these before. Reduce your carbon footprint. So that's that CO2 that Aisha was telling us about. Electricity savings, you've heard. So a lot of times you save money on solar electricity versus the electricity coming from the grid or the utility company. For those that want to own their solar system, and we will get into owning versus renting in a bit, there are tax advantages for those that want to own the solar systems to lower the purchase price. We also are working with the Solar United Neighbors Solar Co-op to get preferred pricing. If you've ever heard of a co-op or purchasing power of a co-op, it'll get you better pricing because of the number of folks that sign up. And also solar panels, just as they are, have limited maintenance. You don't need to go out and wash your solar panels. There isn't too much that you need to do to take care of them. We'll get into a little bit more of the differences on that as well. So let's quickly touch on HOAs. We've got a lot of them in Montgomery County. So HOA means homeowners association. Maryland does have a law that prevents the HOA from not letting homeowners install solar. They can impose some regulations that you can put solar panels in certain places, but it cannot significantly increase the cost of the solar system or significantly decrease the efficiency. So they can say that you can put the inverter on one place and the meter in another place. They can tell you a little bit about where to put things, but they can't affect your ability to go solar in not so many words. One exception is that if you live in a historic district, you do have to follow those regulations. If you don't know if you live in a historic district or not, then chances are you don't. You would know if you did. So let's talk quickly about Access Solar. We already mentioned there's a special program for folks with total household income of $97,500 or less per year. There are two options to finance a solar system, owning it or renting it, and both of them have no money down options. So you don't have to budget anything upfront. Tom, if you want to check the chat for me, if I check the chat, it'll skip all the slides.
Sure.
So we look at them as ownership and rental, the two different options. We'll go into a little bit more detail on that. So let's talk a little bit about the differences between owning your system and paying for it with cash, which I don't know if you guys can, but I can't afford it. I don't have extra cash laying around to pay for a solar system, but if you do, that's great. And then if you wanted to own your solar system but finance it, we can talk about loans that are available for that. And if you wanted to just rent the solar system and have another party own it, there's a power purchase agreement. So we'll start on the left here, ownership with cash. You own and insure the solar system as part of your home. So your homeowner's insurance would take over the solar system and include it in there. Now, sometimes there is a rider that you have to add. Usually it's not too expensive, and that's subjective to say too expensive, so it's up to you. But I've heard things like $50 more a year. That was a couple years ago, so let's say maybe up to $100 more a year. It's not nothing, but it's not as scary as a lot of people think it is. Sometimes your solar system might already be included in the value of your home, so call your homeowner's insurance and ask them. Say, I'm thinking of getting a whatever amount of dollars solar system. Would that be included in my current policy? Then you would go ahead and pay for the solar system with your own funding, and then you can apply for the tax credit. If you're not sure if you have taxable income to get the tax credit, we just tell you to speak to your accountant or your accounting software. Some people use software these days, and there are other incentives available as well, like solar renewable energy credits, and there's a Maryland Clean Energy Grant. Ownership with financing, it has many similarities to ownership with cash. You also own and insure the solar system as part of your home. You pay for the solar system with funding from a loan, so there's no money down in that option. You have predictable monthly payments, and you still qualify for the tax credit. Again, check with your accountant to see if you have the tax credit, the taxable income. And then you can also apply for the solar renewable energy credits if you like, or we have an option where we can monetize that for you. We can subsidize it for you, and we're going to get into that. There are different loan terms. So if you wanted a loan for a shorter term versus a longer term, you do have some flexibility there with your financing. Let me move my Zoom faces over so that I can see the other side of my screen. And then here on the right, we have our power purchase agreement, also known as a PPA. That's our rental option. You would sign and lock in a price for your electricity for 25 years. So a lot of times people say, well, that sounds a little bit scary. Well, if you think about it, if you were able to lock in the price of gas years ago, you probably would have. So basically with the PPA agreement, you're locking in your price for electricity and saving against rising costs. You can also decide if you want to start with a lower price now with an escalator, or just lock in your price and have it never change. There are no upfront costs to be paid by you, and you pay lower payments according to the production of the system. We will go into this in a little more detail if you have a question. So for our ownership option, we actually have a couple sub options. So we talked about getting a loan, and we also talked about getting a subsidy. So you can do both of these, or you can just choose one or the other. With the subsidy, basically what we do is we pay the solar installer that you choose to work with for 5 years worth of the incentive called solar renewable energy credits. So that takes down the price of the system about 10% overall. So if you either want to finance the rest of that, you can do that with a low interest loan, or if you wanted to pay in another way with another type of financing outside of the green bank options, that's fine. You can still get that SREC subsidy. Again, we mentioned for the loan, there's no money down. It is offered through our partner, who we've been partnering with for some time now, the Clean Energy Credit Union. We have below market interest rates and variable terms, so either 12 years, 15 years, or 20 years. And this is available for folks with credit scores of 600 or above, which is actually a little bit lower than what they allow for the greater market. So we've brought this down. And if anyone is on the call that maybe says, well, what about my friends who might not qualify for their income? We have option 2 still available for other folks with the Clean Energy Credit Union. Again, there's no money down, below market rate, and the credit score down to 600. So that is one option that we'll go over tonight that's available for everyone. And Tom, did you want to add anything? I know I'm going kind of quick.
You're doing very well. Keep going.
Here's an example that just shows the value of the subsidy that we talked about, the 10% reduction in total cost. So here we have a $25,000 solar system. Now, I don't want you to get that number stuck in your head because this will vary by your home. So you might not have enough room on your roof to get that much solar up, or you may have a very large home with more electricity need, and you might need a larger solar system. So this is just for purposes of this example. We use $25,000. You can see the amount of the federal tax credit for solar systems that are installed this year before the end of the year. The federal tax credit is 26% of the total cost. So that calculates to $6,500. So we subtract that because you get it back. If you decide to own your home, we're assuming that you have decided that you have enough taxable income to get the federal tax credit. Again, you can talk to your accountant or your solar installer. They're also very knowledgeable about it. So the first column is not using the subsidy, and it shows the balance of the cost, the value of the electricity that you're getting from your solar system at 14 cents a kilowatt. That's the average rate that residents are paying right now in PEPCO and BGE territories. If you're in Potomac Edison, it's a little bit different, and I'm happy to go over that with anyone outside the call. And it shows your annual payments. There are different rates based on where your credit score falls, so we use the best one. You can see the most important part of this chart is the blue line at the bottom, and it shows your savings. So you can see the difference in your savings by using the Green Bank's SREC subsidy. And the most important part for me is how we help the environment. So the equivalent in just 1 year of using the solar system is avoiding 8.5 metric tons of CO2, 9,409 pounds of coal not burned. And this is a fun one, the equivalent of 1,034,000 and some smartphones charged. So I like that. So we went over our ownership option. That's where we've been. So here we are looking at our rental option. So you might say, well, Cindy, I already know that I don't want to own a solar system for whatever reason. Maybe you don't know if you have the taxable income, to take the tax credit. You can go ahead and look at our power purchase agreement. This locks in a low energy price for 25 years to purchase the power. So the only thing that you pay in a power purchase agreement is for the electricity that the solar system produces. You pay for whatever extra electricity your house uses on top of what the solar system can produce, depending upon the month in the year. So in the spring and the summer, if your solar system is built to produce all of the electricity that you need, you probably won't be paying anything to the utility company. And you may even have a little bit of a credit to use in the winter months when there is less electricity. But let's say that you use a lot of electricity and you have a townhouse that doesn't have a lot of roof space. You may be getting some or a chunk of your electricity from the solar system and still be paying the rest of it to your electricity company. But you can think of that sort of as a pie, where you're splitting it in half, and half of it is solar at that lower rate, and half of it is what you're already paying to the utility. So you're just saving on half of it. So you're not paying any more than you were paying before. You're just taking a portion of it, moving it over to locking in a good rate for 25 years. Our partner, Sonova, is the owner of the solar system. This rental option is also known as third-party ownership. They install and finance and also maintain the system for you. You have no out-of-pocket costs, no maintenance or insurance costs with this option. And there are options to transfer the power purchase agreement to a new owner if you were to sell your home, or you can exit the contract and purchase the remaining value. You may ask, well, exactly how much will it be for me? There are a couple different options available right now, more options coming soon. So we're going to leave that to the solar installer to go over with you. They'll be trained on every option available, so don't worry. This is an example of how the savings works in a PPA. So if you look at, I'm going to move my Zoom screens over again. If you look at the yellow bars, that is what you would be paying for your electricity from the solar system. If you didn't have solar at all, you'd be paying the green plus the yellow bars. So let me say that again. If you add up the green and the yellow bars all together, that's what you'd be paying without solar. If you get a PPA with Sonova, even with a 1% escalator, you'll be saving all of the green. Basically, you chop that green part off, and that's your savings. Tom, do you want to add anything to that?
I think this is the sort of way to think about the power purchase agreement and the value, right? Because you've got no out-of-pocket costs, so you're getting solar installed on your home with nothing to put out. And what's your benefit? Your benefit is that you're locking in, as Cindy said, a specific price for electricity. And as the grid price from the utility goes up, you're maintaining a lower cost, and therefore that's where your gain is from this. You have put nothing out of pocket, and you get the benefit of the lower price for the electricity from that on the solar than what you'd be paying the utility. So,
Thanks, Tom. All right, so let's talk about how it works. So the easiest way to join the Access Solar program is by joining the Solar United Neighbors County Solar Co-op. The part that that contains Montgomery County is called the Capital Area Co-op. We've been working with the Solar United Neighbors Co-op this is the third year. So we are very familiar with the folks over at Solar United Neighbors, what they do, how everything works. And we just think it's so easy for homeowners to do. Basically, you go on Solar United Neighbors website, put in your information. You're not obligated to do anything at that time. You're just saying you want to be part of this group of people that are saying, what kind of price can we get if so many of us want to do this together? And then the Solar United Neighbors Co-op will send your information to one of their solar installers that have been vetted and have agreed on a price. And the solar installer, again, approved by Solar United Neighbors with approved pricing, will take a look at your home personally, go over all of your options. They'll even go over a design with you, how things will look, when things will happen, what your options are, what will save you the most money. And then if that sounds good, then you go ahead and agree, get your solar panels installed over the next few months after that. Help the earth, help your pocket. One important step though, if you want to go over the Access Solar financing option, the special options that we just talked about, make sure that when you sign up for Solar United Neighbors, you check the box that says, yes, I want to be, I qualify for Access Solar financing. And you don't actually have to send in your income information at that time. You just have to say whether your total household income is above or below $97,500 per year. Okay, so this isn't locking you into anything yet. One important thing though is getting to step 2, because every house is different, not only in the way that it's built. I've seen even connected townhouses be different, even though it looks like they're all the same. They have different usage inside the home. And the roofs are slightly different, even though they may look very similar. So you do need to have that time when you have your home checked out by a solar professional. Any questions up to this point? So I think we've already talked a little bit about the solar co-op, but some benefits are preferential pricing, superior equipment. So Solar United Neighbors just check to make sure the equipment that you'll be offered is top of the line. and that all available warranties will be offered. So they do their homework for you. Again, this is so easy. They make sure that monitoring of your solar system is included and you also have access to it, and that the work that you have done is quality. So you can sort of rest assured by signing up for the co-op. So it's managed by Solar United Neighbors. I think I've already mentioned all of these. Here is the website right here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat in a minute. Make sure you check that box to be assessed for access solar options. You don't have to do anything just to sign up. You don't have to prove anything at all. You just check that box and you're all set. So let's take a moment and see what questions everyone has.
There was one in the chat, Cindy. Aisha said, I live in a townhome community, but it's not an HOA. It's a condominium association. Can condo associations prevent homeowners from installing solar panels?
Oh, that's a great question, Aisha. Yes, they can. And that is because the condo association owns the roof. And so no worries, we have options for you. So one option is to have your condo association talk to us about putting solar on all the best roofs on the solar association, on the condo association as a whole, as a commercial solar installation. We can help with financing. We do have programs for that. And your second option, which you can do right now, is to sign up for a community solar that's already installed. We just helped an apartment building in downtown Silver Spring called Paddington Square. Tom, I've been talking so much. Do you want to talk about Paddington Square?
Sure. So Aisha, it's a way for you to be a subscriber to solar energy on a project that's not on your building, but is in the community. And you pay a subscription fee for that, and you get the solar benefits on your utility bill for the amount of production related to the subscription you paid. So it's a way for you to benefit from solar energy. You're participating in a solar project in your community. You're just not directly connected to it. And Cindy can sort of share with you the website that you can go to in order to sign up for that program. It's taking the subscriptions right now. So, and there is actually if you're under a certain income there actually are benefits to households that as well under that program. So it has a low moderate income component as well as a market component.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I actually, so I've subscribed to Arcadia.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess it's something similar where, you know, I get some credits, but then there's also like I don't know if you call it a fee for like the
Yes.
clean energy. But then I'm not actually receiving, like my energy at home isn't powered by the wind energy or the solar energy that I'm getting credits for. Is that right? Like, I mean,
Oh no, if you're a subscriber to that Arcadia, you are getting credits related to a solar array that they own and are managing. So well, they manage, I don't think they own it. They manage it for another owner, but you are getting direct subscription benefits from that solar array that you're subscribing to.
okay.
Well, Aisha, if I
Thank
might, and I'm sorry, you might be talking about third-party energy through a third-party provider and not community solar. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not
okay.
sure if yeah, because Arcadia sometimes it looks like I'm getting like the credits are going towards like, I don't know, like wind energy, like I'm that's where I'm getting the benefit from versus community solar, though I also know that they were gonna start doing community solar. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so that's very common. The great thing about all the different types of solar is that they all work together. So you can have a third-party provider for wind energy. Basically, you are helping fund a project that does provide renewable energy in another area. That's a third party. And a lot of times you get a better rate for it as well. if you wanted to take a share of a community solar project, you'd sign a 1 or 2 year subscription. The one that we have that I just put in the chat, you can cancel at any time, so it's great. And basically you pay for a share of that solar system and you get the amount of credits from, let's say 3 kilowatts or 4 kilowatts. You can basically think of it that you're getting 4 solar panels worth of electricity, depending upon your share. And so throughout the year, the credits you get on your bill will be higher and lower depending upon the actual production of that solar system. You can do both of those at the same time. You can have community solar, that will be calculated on your bill first. And then once that's finished, it will calculate the rest of your electricity through your third-party wind provider. And even better than that, if you have solar panels on your house, you can do all 3 together as long as you need all of that renewable energy. So if you're, let's say, for example, you want to get a very large solar system, but your house won't fit all those solar panels that maybe you need, you can get a solar system that provides half of the electricity that you need, and the other half of the electricity you need can come from community solar.
Okay, wow, so a lot of options.
Yeah, you could do bumper to bumper solar.
Yeah, I like the terms like solar system. You know, my son's gonna like.
Yep, nothing precludes you from combining the options. So there's nothing in your third-party contract that says that you can't do any other types of solar.
Okay, thank you.
And
Great
are you
question.
sure, are you okay to share what condominium you're with? Because we've been talking to quite a few. I'd be curious if we've been talking
Yeah.
to yours.
Sure. Montrose Woods. It's on Montrose Road in Rockville. Yeah, there are a bunch of, so there's Montrose Woods and then there's Montrose Forest, which is our neighbor. So yeah, I haven't heard anything from the condo association about, you know, like any news about, you know, trying to get solar. So I'm not sure if you guys are talking to them, but yeah, if you want me to forward, you know, send you their contact info, I can do that.
Sure, you can email me directly yourself, or you can email me and also the person from your condo organization, so that we're all in the same email, and introduce me, and then I can take it from there.
Okay, great. Yeah, is your email in the chat?
Yes. So the first link in the chat is the link to sign up for the Solar United Neighbors Capital Area Co-op, so that you can get locked into that preferential pricing and click that you qualify for Access Solar. The second link in the chat is to our community solar project for anyone that can't get solar panels on their roof. And the third is my email address if you want some more information.
Okay, great. I'm just gonna copy these to my notes. Thank you.
That is perfect. That's what we're looking for.
I did have another question if no one else has any other questions.
Please go ahead.
So the chart that you showed with the savings, like if we're financing a solar system, I wasn't sure how you got the bottom, like the blue line, like the amount of savings. I don't know how I couldn't see how the math added up. So,
Sure. Do you want to look at it again?
Yeah, if that's okay. Thanks.
All right, let me move things around quickly here.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
yeah, so I see
Sure. So it's
yeah.
just sure. So it's just this line. Subtract,
yeah, like
this. You just take this one, subtract this one, you get that one.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
see.
So basically, how much less you're paying for your electricity, subtracted by what you are paying for your loan as your savings.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. I was trying to get from the 18,500 to the 217, but I see the annual payments. So this is like,
That's taken in the payments. Yep.
okay, got it.
Good question. Yeah.
And then just one final question. So with the PPA, like with the fixed sort of energy rate, so the assumption there is that the price of energy will go up year to year, right? And that's why we would have cost savings.
Yes, we base that on data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration's website, or the U.S. EIA. They've got lots of fun energy data if you're an energy nerd like me. They do historical increases in utility prices and forecasted as well. You might say, how can we predict the future, right? We can't predict the future. And one option that we're hoping to have at some time in the future is something that is just related to what the current utility rate is. So something that changes what the current utility rate is. Not available yet, and we're not exactly sure when it will be available, but I think that's where you were going with that. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's like enough supply of like clean energy, then maybe the rate may actually go down, or not increase as much as we, if there wasn't as much clean energy in the system. I'm just thinking, yeah.
So in Montgomery County, I don't know if you also got the message, but I got a message. I'm a Pepco ratepayer. I got a message that my bills are about to go up on average $3 and something cents a month.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately normal, not exactly average. So what we do is we don't say we know this is going to happen or we can predict. We just use the U.S. Energy Information Administration's projections and historical increases. I don't know if you remember when Pepco merged with Exelon back in, was it 2016 or 2017? I think there was a 13% increase that year, something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I don't pay that attention to my energy bills until maybe now. But yep.
Yeah, if you ever want to look at your utility bill with me, I do that for fun. So just kidding, but I am sort of an energy nerd in that. Sunny or Elijah, did you have any questions?
Not really, but I'm listening.
Okay.
No, I didn't have any other.
You didn't have any other? Okay. Sunny, do you think you're going to sign up? Maybe not ready to say that just now. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I would think about it.
Okay. All right, let me know. Send me an email later and let me know what you thought. I know you have my email address. That's great. Well, thank you all so much. We're going to stop the recording now. Tom, could you?
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that. And everyone's welcome to stay on and chat, but